I have never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered, the point is to discover them. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. We cannot teach people anything, we can only help them discover it within themselves. Measure what is measurable, and make measurable what is not so. If I were again beginning my studies, I would follow the advice of Plato and start with mathematics. In questions of science, the authority of 1,000 is not worth the humble reasoning of a single individual. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. I give infinite thanks to God, who has been pleased to make me the first observer of marvelous things. The Milky Way is nothing else but a mass of innumerable stars planted together, in clusters. By denying scientific principles, one may maintain any paradox. Philosophy is written in this grand book, the universe, which stands continually open to our gaze. But the book cannot be understood unless one first learns to comprehend the language, and read the letters in which it is composed. Where the senses fail us, reason must step in. Nature is relentless and unchangeable, and it is indifferent as to whether its hidden reasons and actions are understandable to man or not. And yet it moves. We must say that there are as many squares as there are numbers. It is surely harmful to souls to make it a heresy to believe what is proved. The nature of the human mind is such that unless it is stimulated by images of things, acting upon it from without, all remembrance of them passes easily away. Who would set a limit to the mind of man? Who would dare assert that we know all there is to be known? He who looks the higher is the more highly distinguished, and turning over the great book of nature, which is the proper object of philosophy, is the way to elevate one's gaze. Facts which at first seem improbable will, even on scant explanation, drop the cloak which has hidden them, and stand forth in naked and simple beauty. It vexes me when they would constrain science by the authority of the Scriptures, and yet do not consider themselves bound to answer reason and experiment. I think that in the discussion of natural problems, we ought to begin not with the Scriptures, but with experiments and demonstrations. To understand the universe, you must understand the language in which it's written, the language of mathematics. You can't teach anybody anything, only make them realize the answers are already inside them. Knowing thyself, that is the greatest wisdom. Nothing occurs contrary to nature except the impossible, and that never occurs. The prohibition of science would be contrary to the Bible, which in hundreds of places teaches us how the greatness and the glory of God shine forth marvelously in all His works. If you could see the earth illuminated when you were in a place as dark as night, it would look to you more splendid than the moon. You may force me to say what you wish, you may revile me for saying what I do. Two truths cannot contradict one another.